Good evening and welcome to this edition of North Penn Television. I'm Eric Jesperger, alongside Prashant Joe Pomprucha, ready for high school football action between the LaSalle Explorers and the North Penn Knights. We are set here at North Penn's Crawford Stadium, preparing for action between two phenomenal teams. The Knights coming into tonight as they set off their their home opener to the season, to this 2018 season. North Penn comes in tonight with a 1-0 record, defeating the Chamonix at Heartbreak Ridge last Friday night. And as for LaSalle, they come into tonight's game 0-1, defeating Emotep Charter High School.
And Eric, guess who is the quarterback at Emotep Charter High School? Former North Penn quarterback Steve DePaul. Lost them last year as a North Penn member, but got the win against them last week.
Yeah, so that was a great matchup for LaSalle as they get set to face off against the North Penn Knights here in Game 2 of both teams' seasons. And LaSalle will be receiving the ball as North Penn will kick it off to kick off tonight's game. And they'll kick him off that first, and he'll get loose. And that's number 10, Luke Hardy, receiving for LaSalle on the kickoff and being brought down around the 25-yard line.
And as the offense charges onto the field for LaSalle, the quarterback Jack Machida will be under center. Running back Jalen DeVos. Fullback Liam Tatlong-Harry. The receivers Sean Daly, Luke Hardy, and Khalil Diarra. Tight end Tim Barrett. And the O-linemen for tonight, Leland Mursky, Ryan Wills, Ronnie Ross, Kenny O'Kane, and Declan Tuffy at center.
And as we get set for the first snap here of the ball game, Machida will hand off to running back Jalen DeVos, a former North Penn student, transferring over to LaSalle as he gets the first carry and is brought down for a loss by the Knights.
And the defensive starters for tonight's North Penn Knights. Defensive end Julian White off a big performance. Noah Fox, Eric Rowe, RJ McNamara, Evan Spann, Nate Brown, TJ Fisher, Eric Laughlin, Andy Cole, John Haynes, and Kaleem Corbin.
Machino runs out of the pocket, rolls right, able to get the pass off to number 49 for LaSalle. And that is Timothy Barrett receiving an early pass here in play. As we looked at the last season and for the season opener for both teams, LaSalle and North Penn faced off, and we saw a lot of running plays, handoffs very early on. So with this kind of weather here tonight, the forecast, rain most of the night supposed to be dying down soon, but throughout the whole pregame, the rain was coming down, so field conditions may be slippery out there for both sides of the ball. And Machida will hand off with a short gain, and we'll head to his sideline and talk to the coach as we get ready for third down for LaSalle on their first drive of the ball game.
And as you mentioned, a lot of running the last time these two met up. North Penn was still trying to figure out the running game. They had a lot of running backs last year, but not so much this year. Shamar Edwards, key inactive for tonight. He's a starting running back for North Penn, but he's inactive. And you're going to see Kaleem Corbin at running back.
And Shamar Edwards, yes, he took many of those first touches for North Penn last week against the Chamonix, but went out, was rattled, and is unable to play tonight as he is not dressed. And Jalen DeVos rolling left will be brought down for a short gain. And so far, North Penn is on top of the running game for LaSalle, as they're doing a phenomenal job keeping these gains short as LaSalle slowly reaches the logo at midfield.
And we'll see if they do a pass play now as they did on second down last time. After 3 run plays that have not really gone too far.
It will be second down and 7 for LaSalle as they look to convert another first down. And also important to note from the early on aspects of last year's game for both teams, timeouts called on both sides. We did see that last week for North Penn as they called a timeout in the first quarter.
And they're definitely still in early season mode, as it was the first game for both teams, I believe, as that run goes to about the 41.
And Jalen DeVos is taking much of these carries. But North Penn is continuing to stay right on him. And here at Crawford Stadium, crowd on their feet, getting ready for another third down opportunity here for LaSalle.
And the receivers spread out wide here, as it will most likely be a pass play. Quarterback in the shotgun.
Snap gave him Machida. Looks right and gets a quick pass off to number 10 for LaSalle. That is Luke Hardy with another reception at midfield, and that will be a first down as the chains will continue to move. And we saw a very commanding defense early on for both sides in the last games. Many drives were stopped early on before LaSalle was able to put up the first points on the board. Two players behind Machida here. As they'll hand off to DeVos. Pushes one, he rolls through the pocket, running hard right, and it will be brought down to about the 30-yard line. Jalen DeVos able to get out of the line of scrimmage and find his way for a multi-yard gain. And LaSalle working their way up the field early on.
And we'll see if that can get their running game going after a slow start, but a big gain right there.
And Machida and DeVos are both juniors at LaSalle. And in the I formation, DeVos in the back. He'll take it once again. And the O-line unable to help out DeVos there, as it will be a short gain.
And some chippiness right there between, it looks like, number 4.
Kaleem Corbin for North Penn. And Luke Hardy of LaSalle. We're getting into it quite a bit. And a flag on the play. False start on LaSalle. Penalty is declined by Coach Beck of North Penn. And Machida head back to the huddle. And as we talked about, the running game is getting going, and Machida looking comfortable back there in the pocket. And if he needs to run out of the pocket, that's where we've seen many of those passes come from so far. Machida steps back, he'll roll hard left. DeVos applying the blocks. Machida rolling right now. He'll cut through and just kind of dancing around. Will finally be brought down by North Penn.
And definitely a hold right there from one of the LaSalle blockers.
And Noah Fox bringing down the quarterback. And a stoppage of play holding on LaSalle. That's 2 penalties early on here for LaSalle, wearing white and gold helmets with gold plants and blue and white trim. North Penn wearing their Navy uniforms as well as Navy pants and Columbia helmets.
And that play really exemplified how good this secondary is. That O-line for LaSalle gave so much time to Machida on that play, but that secondary just held in there, got all their receivers covered, and led to a sack for North Penn.
LaSalle setting up 2 receivers to both sides of Machida, and another flag on the field with the stoppage of play. We'll get set to see the verdict. And another penalty on LaSalle, shooting themselves in the foot here early on, as they were able to get all the way up to the 30-yard line, now being brought back towards midfield. And that is just unfortunate for them so far here in this game, especially early on in their first drive.
And going back to how good this secondary is, it's led by John Haynes, one of the best corners probably in the state. Great corner, and Kaleem Corbin as well.
And Machida giving a short pass off to Jalen DeVos, immediately brought down by R.J. McNamara for a short yardage loss. And that was well done as McNamara stayed right on him. And North Penn continuing to send LaSalle backwards.
Yeah, and they looked like they might have a chance at a field goal earlier, and they're definitely out of range now.
So Machito will head back to the huddle, looking to work his team back up to another possible first down conversion. 3rd and long here for the men in white and gold. Machito will step back. He'll look long, and right on him, number 73 for North Penn. Immediately brings him down, Colby Seelig. And that is a sophomore making his opportunity big there.
Big play, big play. You talking about game momentum early, that's huge right there. You drive them back with penalties, and then you get the sack, huge.
And LaSalle will be forced to punt on their first possession. And a great touch there to the 20-yard line. And number 23, Dante Moore, will receive and gain a couple yardage off that punt reception there.
And we look at the offense now for North Penn, and it's going to be new North Penn quarterback Solomon Robinson starting. Kaleem Corbin at running back, Julian White, John Haynes, Evan Spann at receiver, wing back Nate Brown, tight end RJ McNamara, and the O-line Jake Wallen, Don Stites, Noah Fox, Eddie Harkins, and Noah Boast.
Someone want to hand off, and Julian White will rush hard to his right, and he'll get all the way up close to the first down, and a great first touch there by Julian White. And that was much of the game plan coming to this game, as sure as it was last game, where Neshaminy was immediately met by hard rushers Shamar Edwards and Julian White, where North Penn brought the offense on the run.
And Julian White, the hero from last week's game, 3 touchdowns rushing after Shamar Edwards, the starting running back, got injured, and then the big stop on the 2-point conversion to win the game.
And as Solomon Robinson gets set, he'll step back and hand off to Julian White again. Similar looking play as Julian White refuses to go down immediately. And he is just bursting straight through that line of scrimmage. And with another multi-yard gain there, the chains will continue to move. First down for North Penn. And continuing to talk about Julian White, he was a main factor last game, as not only did he bring the impact for North Penn on the offense side of the ball, but the defense, where he wrapped up that last opportunity for Neshaminy to score with a huge block on Neshaminy's main running back. And he'll take the touch there and be brought down for a short yard gain. And Coach Beck seems to really like handoffs and the ball on the move here early on in this game tonight.
And let's look at the LaSalle defense. We have Paul Jennings, Sam Graham, Isaiah Turner, Ryan Savage, Tyson Goldstein, Dylan Traynor, Brendan Frusco, Jordan Heaton, Frank Joyce, Rob Tatum, and TJ Meacham.
And the flags will immediately be tossed up into the air as LaSalle will go offsides. And once again, North Penn will take advantage of LaSalle's miscues here early on in tonight's ball game.
And LaSalle is going to have to tidy it up a little bit here in the first quarter. Already quite a few penalties.
And also important to note, as we talked about, where the field conditions may be slippery, may be rough, that definitely plays into the factor of the game plans for both sides of the ball for both teams. As we're seeing North Penn looking to run the ball quite a bit, look to avoid any, slip-ups or anything like that. And the run game is working so far. However, it'll be brought down here towards the line of scrimmage. And that's number 17, Nate Brown Jr. taking the carry, being met immediately by LaSalle's defensive line. And the Knights will get set to look for their first down conversion of tonight's game. It is 3rd and 2. Sullivan behind his line, hands off. Rolls right. He'll take a QB sneak and brought down for a loss. LaSalle read it like a book as number 4, Dillian Trainer with a big stop will take North Penn's offense off the field and special teams on to punt it away.
And that definitely shows that the game plan for tonight is to run the ball if you're running on third down. Big play right there, and they're going to hand off the ball, it looks like, for most of the game.
Long snapping for the punter, Nate Brown to RJ McNamara, who will get set to kick it away. And he will get it off, maybe touched, as this ball will bounce out of bounds at the 40-yard line at LaSalle's end of the field. And it didn't look like to be touched by LaSalle's rush. Maybe just was unable to get the right grip of the ball or well enough kickoff.
And it's understandable, it's hard to get a grip with these conditions on the field right now in all the rain. Get a grip on that football. It's definitely going to be tough for the punters and even the quarterbacks.
Yeah, we did see long snapper Nate Brown taking a lot of reps for the game in the pouring rain, so definitely playing an impact. And as we get back to the action, Machida will roll right, get it off to number 33 of LaSalle, who's pushed immediately out of bounds. And that was Liam Tatlohair with his first reception of tonight's game. So as both teams get set for their second drives of tonight's game, we got a sense of them probably going to feel more comfortable, and we're going to see, we saw LaSalle getting quite a bit passes off early on in their drives, and when the opportunity gets for North Penn to get the ball back, we'll see if they change it up a bit, giving Solomon a couple more passing plays. But as for now, Machida will hand off to DeVos. Hard meet at line of scrimmage. Could hear the helmets clash from up here as DeVos will get a couple yards on the gain.
Yeah, big stop right there, and that's going to bring up a third down.
And it'll be 3rd and 5. We're at the 45-yard line, and Machida will head back to the huddle.
And Machida's definitely got to be thinking about that blitz right now. It's been met twice by it, and it's most likely going to be a pass play, so he'll definitely be thinking about the blitz.
DeVos behind him. 2 receivers to his far left. He'll immediately run left and whiffs on the throw. Ball comes loose, and North Penn will be right on top of it.
And there it was. That blitz came in.
And that was number 57 for North Penn picking up the loose ball. Eric Rowe right on top of it. And we saw that coming as both wide receivers were to his far left, and Machida looked for it. And as he went to throw, the ball just slipped out of his hand. And that is this field conditions and the forecast playing a hard factor in tonight's game. And as LaSalle went to throw the ball, looking to convert on the 3rd down, ball comes loose. North Penn will take over with field position around the 35-yard line.
And that North Penn defense getting to the quarterback has really worked so far early. We'll see if it continues throughout the game.
Oh, wow, and as the refs came up to talk about the play, will be ruled an incomplete pass, so both teams will take the field. North Penn's defense back on, and LaSalle's offense, as Machida will get another opportunity to redeem himself here, looking to get another 1st down conversion for LaSalle.
And that is a big game changer early. And we'll look at the officials for tonight. We have Lance Carlin, John Gerhardt, Alan Frick, Tom Henry, Tom Noonviller, and Robert Drumright.
And the refs continue to talk as we get set to take a look at it again. It was just Machida let the ball come loose as he went to throw on the run, and it was wrapped up immediately. And there we go. It will be kicked away, and a great punt will roll. And taking a very North Penn friendly bounce backwards, and will stop around the 25-yard line. Picked up by LaSalle as North Penn's offense now will take the field, ready to get going for their second drive of tonight's game. And with 49 seconds left here in the first quarter, we'll look to see possibly the first score of tonight's game.
And it started off like this last year, really close. I'm not even sure if someone scored in the first quarter of last year's game, and it was pretty close throughout until the fourth quarter when LaSalle started to get a big lead, and they held it for the rest of the game.
Solomon Robinson, number 9, senior, with his second year at North Penn, transfer from Shaldick High School in New Jersey, where it's set in the I formation. Hands off right away, and number 15, RJ McNamara, will break three. He breaks one tackle. He's on his way down the sideline. Refuses to go down, and will be just enough as he gets sent out of bounds by the safety for LaSalle, and RJ McNamara making a huge impact with the biggest run and biggest play, no doubt, so far in tonight's game. And not only a North Penn first down, but a 44-yard gain on the play. And that the game plan for Coach Beck and North Penn definitely looks to be playing on the run, and it is working so far. Similar setup here. Robinson and his running backs in the I formation, handed off to Nate Brown, who will be brought down with short gain, getting through the line of scrimmage. And as we get set for second down and 7, we'll look to see Solomon Robinson take possibly his first tosses here of tonight's game, as he had quite a bit for Neshaminy. And North Penn working their way off the field as the first quarter wraps up here at Crawford Stadium. And a ton of action so far. Not a score yet, but we saw great drives from both teams.
Some big plays. Obviously, the one we just saw, RJ McNamara, big-time run, 44 yards. The controversy between if it was a fumble or incompletion by the quarterback for LaSalle, Machida. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet so far.
And as Coach Beck gets sent into the huddle, Dick Beck, head coach for North Penn, and on the other side of the field is head coach for LaSalle, John Stingmetz. As both teams looking to pick up a W, North Penn looking to go 2-0, and LaSalle looking to get their first win of the season, as their record is 0-1. North Penn student section bringing in a blackout for tonight's game, whiteout in Neshaminy. And it is a great attendance for even the poor weather, as rain continues to drizzle onto Crawford Stadium here at North Penn.
And not bad from LaSalle either. They have quite a big student section.
Mix of white and blue across the field, supporting their team. And as we get set to begin the second quarter play, North Penn will begin at the 26-yard line, looking to put the 4 points up on tonight's game. And here we go, Solomon Robinson getting set, 2nd and 7. He'll step back and then step back into the pocket. Robinson hands off, running hard right, brought down immediately. After a gain that should continue the chains moving, Julian White with the carry for North Penn, with a gain of 8 and the first down as the chains will move.
Julian White doing a pretty good job here early, powering through.
Julian White and RJ McNamara behind Sullivan at the line. And Solomon will step back. As it seemed like LaSalle did a little bit of a jump there. Solomon seen. And he'll hand off to his right. Julian White be brought down at the line. As White and Gold immediately bring down Julian White at the line of scrimmage. Another short gain, and we'll possibly see Solomon look to get the ball in the air.
It's been a while for sure since we've seen a pass play. And in fact, I'm not sure if North Penn has called a pass play yet so far.
Solomon will hand off, running to his left and giving off to Nate Brown, who will get another gain. But LaSalle right on top of the running game so far here, as North Penn inches closer and closer towards the end zone. Officials timeout on the field as they will meet up with LaSalle player number 30, Brendan Frusco. And as we continue to talk about Solomon Robinson, he was one of the main impactors, not only throwing the ball but also rushing, as he had 71 rushing yards on 12 attempts. And as for his passing game, he had just over 100 passing yards with a touchdown among the many points scored by North Penn in that fantastic game, double overtime against Neshaminy.
And Solomon Robinson, this team really trusts in him. He's done a great job so far. Obviously the win last week, but even before the year started, they had a scrimmage against Plymouth Whitemarsh, and they won 40-0. Solomon has really done well so far in his experience at North Penn football.
And as we take a timeout here for LaSalle, they did lose their first game of the season last week to Emotep Charter, who was the quarterback, who had the quarterback Steve DePaul for North Penn last season.
Yep.
And as we continue to talk about quarterbacks, as DePaul moved out, Solomon Robinson moved in. He came to North Penn last year, mid-school year. At North Penn, he immediately made his impact on the basketball team here at North Penn as he got his name known.
Got moved up to varsity at some point, even started a few games at varsity.
Yeah, we knew about him right away up in the booth, commentating most of the games. And he was a phenomenal athlete. And as we came out to the practices and listened to some of the discussions, talked about who's going to be the starter quarterback, Solomon was the answer, taking many of the reps in those practices. And after that last play, Solomon's first pass attempt will end up short. And Nate Brown will check in for Andy Cole, as North Penn will go for it. Fourth down. 4th and 7 to go for a first down here at the 15-yard line at Crawford Stadium. Solomon in the shotgun. Nate Brown to his left. He'll step back. Solomon looks right. He throws. Caught by R.J. McNamara and brought down at the 3rd-yard line. And Solomon Robinson letting the ball loose. Huge gain and huge 4th down conversion for a 1st and goal with a gain of 13 yards.
And R.J. McNamara with 2 huge plays so far, obviously converting that 4th down and earlier with the big rushing attempt. But that's a big play. Go for it on 4th down, and now it's 1st and goal for the Knights.
Julian White and Nate Brown behind Solomon. Solomon hands off to his right. Julian White pushes his way through. Touchdown, North Penn. And for the first points of tonight's ball game, it will be North Penn striking in their 2nd drive at Crawford Stadium.
And what a call now that looks to be when you went on 4th down, and then the next play you get a touchdown. That's huge momentum right there as we see our first score of the game.
As we get set for the extra point. Nate Brown will receive the snap.
And Ayub Chirardi will kick it.
Kick is up, and it looked like a hand on it from LaSalle.
It still went in, though.
Goes through, wow. It looked like a knuckleball going up off the kick and will end up through the goalpost.
It looked like it went right in between, right in that left corner of the goalpost.
A little bit of luck for North Penn on this muggy night as they put up the first 7 points here in tonight's game versus LaSalle.
And Julian White, already 4 touchdowns on the new season. That's quite incredible so far.
And yeah, he was, as we continue to talk about, he was a main impact in that last game.
And last year only played defensive end.
Yes,
this year he's starting to play fullback, but last year he was a monster at D end, and he's still playing there now. Could bring so much pressure to the quarterback, and that's huge, especially when you have such a good secondary. If you can put pressure on that quarterback, make him have quick decisions in the pocket, and then he's thrown into that loaded secondary that can really help with defense.
And as North Penn gets set to kick it away to LaSalle, Chirardi will step back and look downfield. And a line drive, kick straight about the 10-yard line. Rob Tatum will pick up. However, it looked like he slipped up before picking it up, and it will be stopped there at the 10.
And that ball stops right in the grass, so that shows the weather conditions right there. The ball is going to stop. And that could help punters this game, as you know, you don't have to add as much backspin to it if you're going to kick it near the goal line.
So we've seen LaSalle go through a lot using their quarterback and running backs most of this game. Do you perhaps think we'll see more running plays in this next drive?
I definitely do, because, I mean, every time he goes back in the pocket to throw the ball, there's a blitz. He's getting hit, and you don't want quarterback taking that many hits early on. So more of a running game probably here early, as we see one right there.
And DeVos breaks right through the line of scrimmage and will continue to go. Brought down at about the 33-yard line, and a great start to LaSalle here in their third drive of the ballgame. And as you mentioned, Machida meeting those blitz, he was forced to move out of the pocket most of those times. And that's for both quarterbacks. They're able to work well moving out of the pocket. Solomon Robinson, we got that scouting report and saw that plenty in practices where the real play began once they were on the move. And Jalen DeVos will take another touch, brought down with a gain of about 6.
And the North Penn student section is really loud right now. They are hyped after that big-time touchdown.
As we get set for 2nd and 3, we can look to possibly see a pass play here for Machida, as he only did a short gain on the run. But they will continue to do so, and DeVos will get close to the first down. Does he have enough? The officials will meet up and say he does so. First down for Jalen DeVos, as LaSalle continues to meet up at that logo at midfield. Machida hands off, fakes the handoff to DeVos. It will be met by Nate Brown. Nate Brown holds on, brings them down by the legs. Huge stop by Nate Brown for a big loss on LaSalle, as Nate Brown was right on top of Machida as he faked that handoff. As DeVos ran left, Machida ran right, and Nate Brown stuck to his man.
And right now, this defensive line is really doing well, and not even the defensive line, just the blitz in general with the linebackers just getting in every time. Doing a great job so far.
And yeah, that is important to know, because North Penn only had 1 sack last game. So they were definitely looking to change it up, went to film, studied up, and it's so far working well in this game, where they're not only getting a big sack like that with Machida, but forcing him out of the pocket, getting pressure. And Machida hasn't been really able to get those passes off to his wide receivers since the first drive of the game.
And a timeout here. And I would definitely assume that the LaSalle coach, John Steinmeitz, is talking to the O-line right now, trying to protect the quarterback as he's been hit quite a few times already.
So as we reach a 7 minute and 37 seconds left here in the second quarter and the first half of tonight's action, the Knights lead 7-0. It is second down and 19 to go for Machida and the LaSalle offense. As we get set to resume play after the timeout, Machida in the shotgun, DeVos to his left. Machida will pass to DeVos, a bit high, intended for number 6, Jalen DeVos. And an unfortunate incomplete pass there from Machida, as it'll be 3rd and 19 yards. And we have to expect the ball to be in the air on this next play. So as North Penn, with such a far back of 19 yards for this first down, do you continue to bring that blitz, or do you focus more on the receivers?
I mean, I say you trust your secondary with how good it is. I keep bringing the blitz, and there it is right there.
And with the run there, Machida will get only about to the line of scrimmage as possibly tripped up or dove. He'll be plenty short of the first down as the special teams punt crew will come onto the field for the Explorers.
He felt the pressure right away right there. And right now, North Penn doing really well.
Long snapper sends it back, kicked away by LaSalle. It'll take a hop right into the arms, number 23.
And he's
break it
flashy
through.
right there.
North Penn continuing the run, 23. Dante Moore with his second punt reception of tonight's game, and he's making the most of it as he continues to get a good amount of yards for North Penn as the offense and Solomon Robinson takes the field.
And so far, only one pass attempt for the North Penn offense. We'll see if they like to keep it on the ground as they have already, or if they want to maybe, with a lead, try to mix in the pass more.
In the I formation, 2 receivers to your far side of the screen. Someone will roll out of the pocket, roll right, get the pass off, and is out of the reach for North Penn. Josh McCool. And there was a flag on the play. It looks to be going against North Penn as they'll form deeper than their initial position. And as North Penn looking at the last season, you could consider it coming to an abrupt end as they lost to Garnet Valley 36-35, where we saw a similar game plan where a lot of the rushing was attempted in the beginning of the game. That was the second round of district playoffs as they lost by 1 point. That is a heartbreaking loss for seniors, as North Penn expected to go much farther than doing so. And as for LaSalle, they lost to St. Joe's Prep in the Catholic League final. However, when these two teams met last season for the season opener, LaSalle did win 41-28. So they're looking to do so once again. However, the scoring has been quite small so far in tonight's game.
And the defense really doing well for both sides right now.
And Solomon immediately handing off to Nate Brown as he'll get a short yardage gain.
And they are backed up here.
Second down and 24. These penalties playing crucial to both teams early on in this game. And North Penn meeting it now as they are a couple yards in front of their own end zone. Solomon back in the shotgun. Our receivers to either side of him. Haynes rolls to your close side of the screen. And another stoppage of play.
And I think a receiver might have moved over there as one of the LaSalle players. It looks like number 3, Frank Joyce, was pointing at the receiver on North Penn side.
Yeah, I did see him call it out right away as Haynes motioned to his right towards your bottom half of the field. And quite a bit of conversation so far in our first half of play for the officials, as not only the fumble or incomplete pass play, and there's the flag. And that's a false start for North Penn, and Coach Beck is coming out and is asking a couple questions on that last call.
And I can understand Coach Beck being a little upset because these are plays that they have to discuss. These weren't quick calls. Even the fumble play or that ended up being an incomplete pass, that took a while to call, so I can understand his frustration on the sideline.
And quite a hole to dig themselves out of. 2nd and 24 for North Penn in blue. And they are from the 5, close to their own end zone. Solomon conversing with R.J. McNamara and Julian White behind him. He'll step back, hand off. McNamara hit hard as he ran into a LaSalle player, being covered and blocked by Julian White.
And that was probably just to create a little bit of space for his punter. Never want to have a punter punt from the end zone, or at least the back of the end zone. So create a little bit of space for his punter, R.J. McNamara.
Yeah, R.J. McNamara seems to be on all sides of the ball, offense, defense, and he is the punter for North Penn. So he has made his impact pretty significant here in his junior year at North Penn.
And he's been a part of the program since freshman year. He made the team, and he's never looked back since then. Last year he was playing linebacker a few times. He got in there now and then.
So defense doing quite well so far in tonight's game, as they are continuing to lock down not only the passing but the rushing at some points. And now stoppage of play, timeout called by North Penn. And we have seen this quite a bit where Coach Beck, he won't just stay on the radio on the sidelines during a timeout. He will come out onto the field, talk to his players, see what they're thinking. And this is definitely going to be a tough spot here for North Penn, as they obviously want to avoid the safety, but also try and get some yardage so their punter isn't forced to kick it out where, LaSalle's right back at midfield or on
even closer.
A great spot on the offensive side of the ball.
And especially when you have a wet football like tonight, and it's going to be a little bit harder for that punter to get a good grip, is that you definitely want to limit the chances of them getting good field position off the punt.
So as for the players missing tonight from the starting lineup for North Penn in blue, we have Nick Inshuri, who went out with a knee injury early on at Neshaminy.
And we hope to see him
all
back.
Kickoff, and yet we're hoping for a speedy recovery as much as they can.
Senior here too, so this is his last year, so we definitely want him back. And also Shamar Edwards, the starting running back, is not.
Yeah, Shamar Edwards also went out about the second quarter of last game, and that's where Julian White took over, and he made his opportunity big, taking over that game. As we can continue play, Solomon be brought down, and wow, and LaSalle hopped right on that. It looked like a dog pile deep in the zone, and it's continuing to be tough for North Penn. As now will be 4th down, and R.J. McNamara, the punter, will be forced to kick it away in his own end zone. So this is where the field conditions and the rain continue to come down here at Crawford Stadium could play a huge factor, as we saw plenty of those snaps early on being a trouble for North Penn in pregame. Also, these field conditions are tough for our cameraman. Shout out to them as they continue to do a great job as this rain continues to come down. And as LaSalle is brought down, it will be at the 35-yard line, where the boys in white and gold will take over, looking to tie things up with a touchdown or put themselves up on the board with 3 minutes and 41 seconds left here in our first half of action.
And this is going to be a big possession here for LaSalle. You're really close, and you've had some trouble passing and running. So we'll see if North Penn can continue their domination so far.
Yeah.
Or if LaSalle can turn the tides and maybe tie up the game.
Yeah, LaSalle looking to answer to the great job their defense did here now with the offensive side of the ball. Machida in the shotgun. DeVos rolls right. Machida will fake the handoff, go up the middle. However, brought down immediately by R.J. McNamara. It'll be a short gain. And excuse me, that was number 5, Sean Daly. Second down and 8. And Sean Daly receiving the snaps. As not sure if Machida's out with injury but I mean, North Penn is hopping right on it, bringing down Jalen DeVos there as he rolled to his right off the handoff from Daly. And it looks like Daly's taking over.
I don't see Machida. Oh, here he comes now. He's trudging back onto the field.
There we go, as Daly continuing to get his plays from his sideline and coming back into the huddle. Now Machida will take over.
And we actually had a lot of that last year where Justice Henley would come in and take a few snaps from under center to rush the ball.
Machida steps back. He'll look long, throws right.
And it is...
Diving on that play was DeVos. It came to the ground, and they will say it is caught. Very close play there. And it looks like they did get it right as DeVos slipped up. And as he turned around, the ball was coming right at him. And a huge catch there as they continue their ball progression with a 13-yard gain and a fresh set of downs as the Chains move closer to the Knights' end zone. And Daly receiving the play, and he'll get set in the shotgun formation, receiving the ball. 2 wide receivers to either side. DeVos will roll left, fake handoff. Daly up the middle will break through the line of scrimmage. And for another multi-yard gain. And LaSalle is pushing their way right through this North Penn's defense at will.
And they're in field goal range now, so hopefully, last time they were in field goal range, they got pushed back by penalties and sacks, so we'll see if they can maybe stay in range this time.
And that is good to know because it looks like the teams, after their first couple drives, they've seemed to get things down and get more comfortable avoiding the penalties. I mean, this is a rivalry. Both these teams have faced off every season with North Penn's home openers. And they definitely, gold does not like Columbia. Columbia does not like gold. So it's definitely a great rivalry with plenty of student turnouts on both sides of the field. As salvage plays, the officials will continue to meet up. Daly will head to his sideline and converse as the Explorers get set for a 2nd and 4 possession on the field.
And it looks like Sean Daly will still be at quarterback as he went over to talk to the coach to get the play. And I do not see Machida out there right now.
And yeah, it is a first down gathered by LaSalle. First and goal now, as with 1:13 left here in our first half of action. Daly will get set in the shotgun formation.
We'll see if they continue to run with him, as you haven't seen him throw, and they will.
Daly will run immediately after receiving the ball, and he'll get a gain as diving forward inside the 5-yard line. Another flag on the field as the officials are definitely seeing a lot tonight. Holding will be called on LaSalle, and the ball will be brought right back after Daly's
Yeah, and that's a huge play right there for the luck of North Penn, and unfortunately for LaSalle because, they were real close to the goal line after that, and that's going to push them back now.
And we can give that about LaSalle's 5th penalty in tonight's game, and at least 4 of the 5 have been with positive impacts on LaSalle, just immediately torn away and forcing them into a tough position as they will now be at the 20-yard line. 1st and 19. Machida rolls to his right. He'll get the pass off to DeVos, who is immediately sent out of bounds. And Machida isn't even looking to be getting this pressure, but immediately look to get to out of the pocket and get to their side of the ball. And LaSalle will call timeout.
We have 32 seconds left on the clock here, as is 7-0 North Penn, and LaSalle looking to tie it up before the end of the half, and that would be huge for LaSalle if they could tie it up before the half, start fresh in the second half.
And yeah, you have to be viewing a lot of these timeouts being called. It is very early on in the season still for both teams, and LaSalle is calling quite a bit. I believe that is their last timeout.
And so North Penn looking for a huge stop before the end of the half here. And if they can do that, that will be quite a game changer, as they would take a 7-0 lead into the half.
It is 2nd and 16, so what are you expecting here? A play on the run or in the air?
And for me, I would pass it, but with the blitz coming in, I don't think they will. I would maybe look for the run, try to get some yards and make third down easier, and then maybe pass it there into the end zone, take a shot.
Yeah, that is the one thing you want to avoid, is giving up the ball. You know, you want to try and get some points on the board, and right there, Machida will fall. Let the ball loose, getting a pass off, unable to be brought down, and then will finally be gathered up. And LaSalle almost caught a break, as not only did the initial snap be muffed by Machida, he was able to get the pass off and avoids losing yards, and as the clock will continue to run.
And no timeouts, I guess, left, and they will spike it.
And Machida will stop the clock. 6 seconds left here in our first half of action.
It looks like they'll bring the field goal unit on.
And calling the safe play here to get some points up on the board.
And it's understandable when both sides are having trouble putting up points. Just try to get the 3 points and come back out and maybe get possibly the lead in the second half.
So timeout called by North Penn. They'll look to possibly avoid LaSalle getting some points up on the board. As North Penn, the last kick we saw was by North Penn for the extra point, and the kick was able to get a hand on it from LaSalle, but it was able to still go through the uprights. So North Penn looking to put a huge stop here. And as for LaSalle, they'll get set to kick it up, looking to get it through the uprights and head into halftime with some points on the board.
And then that would be huge if you can come out at halftime, get stopped, because North Penn will have the ball to begin the half. But if you can stop them there and then maybe get some points, that's huge. You know, coming out, getting the 3 points before the half, big stop, touchdown, or even 6. If you can get a field goal, make it 7-6, that would be huge.
Kicking it up, looking to get it through the uprights will be Jake Gandolfo for LaSalle. Kick is up and straight through.
That was quite a good kick right there.
You could hear that from all the way up in the booth. And a 35-yard field goal is good. And with a second left on the clock, North Penn will get one last opportunity to get a playoff before the end of our first half of action.
And it will be Dante Moore, the kick returner.
And we've seen Dante Moore shimmy around a lot of the tackle attempts so far in tonight's game. And so look for quite a few.
And he's a sophomore, so when you're a sophomore, a young player, even if you talk about NFL, you know, the young guys and the late round draft picks, they try everything on special teams because they know they might not have a lot of shots in the actual game, so special teams is where they can get their play time, and I'm sure that's what the sophomores on either side will be thinking.
Yeah, it's where many players get their breaks, and you know, it could be the difference between making a roster or not. So for Dante Moore, he's one of the guys who can make a big impact on the game or shoot themselves right in the foot if the kick is muffed or anything like that. But he's been pretty well so far, and even with these conditions, he's done his job and is looking to put some points up for North Penn as we get set to head into the end of our first half.
They'll squib it.
Yeah, kick will be down, gathered up by North Penn. And as the clock will head into 3 zeros, the first half will wrap up. Both teams will exit the field, and after a exciting first half of action at Crawford Stadium, we'll look to hopefully see the rain finish off as the Knights lead LaSalle 7-3, and we look to continue some great play. Stay tuned.
I got into education later in my life. I went back to school later in life, raised my children first, and I was a math aide at Knapp Elementary. And I decided when I was there that I really just wanted to be in the classroom full-time and not just teach math. And I thought, better time to do it now, and I just decided to do it. I love what I do, and I love to learn. I believe every student can learn. Some of them learn differently, but they all can learn. You have to have a sense of humor, especially in first grade. Also, you have to learn to be flexible, both with the students, the parents, and the people that you work with. I want them to be able to go out into the world and be productive and do something good in the world. Let them understand that the world is big and it's, you have to make your little mark on it, however it is. And hopefully when they make their mark on the world, they do it in a positive way. It's definitely the kids. And the other thing are the people. The people here in North Penn, I've made lifelong friendships. And we don't just teach together, it's like we live together. It's the camaraderie of the staff. And I've been in a few buildings, so I feel that each building has their own flavor. Now that I'm at York, I feel like this is where hopefully I'll retire. And we're a big family here, and I love it. I love the smallness of the community here.
Welcome back to North Penn Television. I'm Eric Jesberg along with Prasham Joban-Prutra.
So you're doing replays
ready
first?
for our second half of action between the North Penn Knights and the LaSalle Explorers. 7-3 the Knights lead after an exciting first half of football. And as we get right to our replays, we'd like to take a look at the first scores of the first half. Leading off the charge was Julia White scoring the first touchdown of the game. Finished off by an extra point by kicker Ayub Charardi for North Penn. And that's where they have so far in tonight's game. And then also LaSalle getting up on the board late in the first half with a field goal kicked up. And some of the big impact plays we saw in our first half was a 44-yard run by RJ McNamara on the second carry of the game, the second drive for North Penn, where he put his team right into great field position. And one of the main impacts also was the fumble or incomplete call through the second half of the first quarter. So those are some of the big impact plays. And as we get set to continue our play here in the second half, what do you think some of these coaches have been talking about in their locker room?
Well, LaSalle definitely has to be talking to that O-line. They got beat up by North Penn's defensive line. Got sacked at least 3 times early. And on the North Penn side, I think they're going to try, or at least I would try, to mix in that pass game. A lot of run plays, not too much in the passing game. And with the lead, maybe you should start to mix it in a little bit.
And as the rain continues to fall here throughout the pregame, the first half, halftime, and now as we get set to get our third quarter underway, these field conditions have been swamped. And it has definitely played an impact with plays such as the quarterback Machida throwing the ball, and it came loose, led to fumble, which worked out for LaSalle's favor, whereas incomplete. We've also saw kind of a missed punt by RJ McNamara for North Penn. So the ball is slippery, plays on the field, players tripping up. We can definitely continue to see the field and its conditions impacting the game tonight as the forecast continues to come down with rain.
And another thing to know about the weather and the field condition is that the ball is not bouncing, so on punts and stuff, You don't have to worry about the ball bouncing too much. That can really help punters if you're trying to avoid getting a touchback and down it inside the opponent's 10. And we have some league-wide scores as Souderton is up 14-7. Neshaminy is up 13-2 against Penn Ridge. CB West leads 14-0 over CB South. And CB North leads Wissahickon 7-0.
So yeah, those are league-wide scores, and it's always great to look into them as many of the teams are getting their seasons underway. And North Penn is in the win column, beating Neshaminy last week at Heartbreak Ridge, and LaSalle coming into tonight 0-1, as we've mentioned, losing to Emotep Charter High School last week. So both teams now getting back onto the field as we get set to begin our second half of action at Crawford Stadium. Crowd on their feet. Rain continues to pour as LaSalle will kick away to North Penn at the 40-yard line. Kicking away for the Explorers, number 38, Jake Gaindolfo, as he has been busy so far tonight for LaSalle, as both punters have. His score has been limited, and the defense have played a big factor, locking down their own. Kick away is a line drive, and tripping up and right away. Continuous rain falls as number 22 for North Penn, Dakari Luby, will trip up and end up at the 21-yard line.
And that shows how the field condition is right now, as it's a little bit slippery. We saw on that slip up right there on the kick return.
And returning to the huddle from the sidelines will be North Penn quarterback Solomon Robinson, senior in the 9 number, as he'll get set. I formation for North Penn. He'll look and hand off to his right, Julian White. Rushing brought down the line of scrimmage, pulled back by LaSalle for a short gain.
Number 34, Julian White.
And we can hope to see a similar game plan for both teams due to these field conditions that we continue to mention. Plays on the run have been main impacts, and we saw plays like R.J. McNamara's 44-yard run, Julian White's touchdown. You know, these are the kind of plays we can continue to expect to see, where the ball hasn't been in the air that much. A couple tosses from both teams, and another running play, as Solomon has only been able to throw the ball twice. He did make advantage of the second one for a great gain in LaSalle's offensive end of the field. And as for LaSalle, they got the ball in the air first, early on in that first drive, with 2 completions by Machida. And Solomon here now set up in the shotgun formation. R.J. McNamara to his left.
With receivers out wide.
Snap receipt, they'll step back, pass. He looks towards sideline, going in his Haynes, and number 23 for LaSalle puts the big body on him. And that was T.J. McComb, taking Haynes' hands and eyes off the ball towards the close side of the field along the sidelines.
And that was one of the first times we saw Solomon stay in the pocket. The other 2 throws, he was rolling out to one of his sides. And even on the other side of the football with LaSalle, they've been doing the same thing, rolling instead of staying in the pocket.
And that is great to note, as this rush has put an impact on the offensive side of the balls. And a huge stop by LaSalle, blocking R.J. McNamara's punt. And LaSalle recovering the ball in phenomenal field position, as they did finish off that first half, putting up a field goal to get on the board 7-3, and they have an opportunity to take the lead here just into our third quarter and second half of play.
And we saw one of the North Penn punts being blocked last half, but that one still was able to travel quite a few yards. But this one was just, there was nothing RJ could do. He couldn't get a grip on the ball with probably the field condition and the way the football is right now. It's really wet out there.
So we saw the defense bail out North Penn quite a bit in the first half. We'll see if they can do so as Machida rolls right. He'll run hard towards the sideline and be brought down for a short yard gain. Excuse me, that was not Machida. That was Sean Daly, as we saw towards the end of that second quarter, he was taking the snaps and running.
And it looks like they want to continue with Daly up. But we haven't seen Daly throw. He's a playing quarterback, but we haven't seen him throw. He's only running so far. And it looks like he's still out there.
He'll be on your top half of the
Or-
screen as Machida gets set.
Yeah.
He'll hand off to DeVos. And a big name we've heard plenty tonight. He'll get a couple yards gainage as we head into third down situation for LaSalle. Getting closer to the goal line. It'll be 3rd and 5 at the 12.
And I would expect LaSalle to maybe take a shot at the end zone here, you know. You can still get the field goal afterwards, so if you get the touchdown, you're up by at least 2 points, but with the extra point, it would be 3. But I don't know. I would take a shot here.
Machida steps back. He'll pass. He'll look. Hit hard. Gets the pass off. And in the hands and falls out. DeVos had the ball right at his chest. But the pressure applied by number 16, Evanspan, with a huge stop with the ball tossed to the end zone and unable to be brought up by DeVos.
And that's a big play. Like I just said, they would probably take a shot at the end zone there. And at first, I thought it might have been caught because the LaSalle receiver had the inside. And just a great play by Evanspan to get a hand in there and knock it away.
And North Penn's defense doing a phenomenal job as LaSalle had great field position. They will now look to come at least out with a field goal.
Number 17, Gavin Daly with the hold.
Gavin Daly will hold, kicked away, and he'll send it right through the uprights. That was Jake Gandolfo
Field goal is good.
being busy tonight. He'll bring LaSalle within 1 as the score is 7-6. North Penn leads, and we'll get ready to take the ball off this kickoff.
And I'm going to be curious to see now what the game plan is for North Penn. Now they don't have such a big lead, only 1 point lead. Maybe they'll start to ease into the passing game or maybe do what's been working so far with running. You know, they got the touchdown off the run with Julian White. So I'm very curious to see what North Penn does here.
And I think what you can look to see is they might put more opportunities for Solomon to throw the ball as their defense. North Penn's defense has been phenomenal tonight. North Penn's been able to get a couple openings, and LaSalle's defense found a couple holes. So if they're able to do so tonight and get some big plays, you know, their defense isn't on. So they didn't have to worry about turning the ball over like we saw there at around the 30-yard line. Their defense bails them out. Their defense does their job.
Yep.
And they'll get ready to head onto the offensive side of the ball as LaSalle will kick away here with 9:09 left in our third quarter of play. So Prasham, as this kick goes away towards North Penn, what do you think was some of the discussions talked about by Coach Beck in the locker room before this half?
Well, the run is done really well, so I don't think he probably just said, keep it going with the run. Defense has been amazing so far. You can't ask for a better defense. That defensive line has just been doing really well. So the only really major adjustment at least to make would be the passing game. Really nothing to speak of passing in the first half. So there was something to be talked about in the locker room. It was probably that.
So as LaSalle gets set up, Solomon Robinson will be back in the shotgun. He'll receive and immediately start the run. Excuse me, that was John Haynes on the
Oh
wait, my correction. That was Solomon Robinson. As it was another big guy. So he immediately took that reception and ran the ball right away, as we've seen Sean Daly do for LaSalle.
Yep. And as I said earlier, we saw that last year a lot with Justice Henley as he would come in to go for the rush out of the quarterback position.
And that kind of trend we've seen with North Penn is their quarterbacks aren't only, big arms throwing the ball,
Dual threats.
40 yards. That's a great word, dual threats, is they are able to run the ball and finesse their way out of, tough situations and blitz to get and pick up yards on the run. And with that last run there, number 17, Nate Brown, will continue moving upfield for North Penn, as it will now be 2nd and 4 officials meeting up. Another official's timeout, as they are controlling this game. They are making sure everything is correct, not only on the field play, but also the ball, as with these weather conditions, rain continue to come. They are making sure they have towels out there, drying up that ball, making sure it's ready to go. And just like our official shouts here, the camera crew doing a great job in this rain all day with setup and covering this game. So shout out to them as they are doing a phenomenal job keeping control of these replays as well as their camera right on the big impacts here as we get to our 8-minute and 23 mark in this third quarter. So now that we've covered North Penn and what their kind of discussion was at halftime, what do you think for LaSalle's side of the ball? What do you think their coach, John Stimmons, has talked about?
Definitely protecting the quarterback. Every time they go to pass the ball, the quarterback, Jack Machida, has just had tremendous pressure put on him and really has had no opportunities to do anything.
As we get back to play, Solomon Robinson set it with his offense in the I formation. LaSalle charged on the blitz, handed off, and immediately brought down. And LaSalle read it like a book as R.J. McNamara brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Second down and 11 for North Penn, up by 1 here in the third quarter. And Solomon will set up in the shotgun formation here on second down. And he'll take the snap and run immediately to his left. He'll break one. He'll get through, see an opening. He's running downfield, the 30, the 20, the 10, and jogs into the end zone. Solomon Robinson, huge touchdown as the Knights back on the board, striking first here in this second half of action.
And I believe there might be a penalty on the play.
Stoppage of play, and this could be a crusher for North Penn. And it will be holding called on the boys in blue, and the Knights will be forced all the way back downfield, where it was a for sure touchdown for Solomon Robinson. The Knights will be sent all the way back to the 25-yard line, just about.
And that changes everything right there. Second down on that play. He had 3 receivers out and big run. I'm pretty sure the defense was fooled because of the receivers out wide, but that was a huge run, and that just changes everything when it comes back.
Yeah, he was untouched. All he had to do was get through one of the blocks, and he was going. He saw daylight, and he got just by that logo at midfield, and he was gone. So a big break for LaSalle, and they are looking to avoid a similar situation happening there with North Penn getting downfield for a touchdown, as they'll get a second shot here with second down now, needing 18 for the first down conversion for North Penn.
And as we said, he's a dual threat, and he actually played a little bit wide receiver back at Shalwick, so he definitely has some speed on him.
Robinson, shotgun. He'll look deep, he'll throw, and right to LaSalle. It's loose. And LaSalle will pick it up. Number 30 picking up the loose ball off the initial interception. That was Brenton Frusco, and perhaps they'll take a look regarding field position, but it will be
LaSalle ball.
LaSalle's ball, yeah, definitely.
And their kicker will make it from here, so they're already in field goal range, and they could be looking to take a lead here.
What a momentum shift. What a momentum shift.
And just a huge change from, you had a big touchdown would have gave North Penn a little bit bigger of a lead, and now we're looking at LaSalle maybe getting a lead here.
And it just looked like a route miscue. The intended target, possibly Haynes on that.
Yeah, it
run,
did look like John Haynes.
It went right into the arms. It looked like number 11 for LaSalle, Zaire McLaurin. And then picked up by number 30, Brenton Frusco on the initial interception, and then loose ball. So LaSalle will take over just inside midfield on North Penn's end of the field here at Crawford Stadium. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. North Penn's got the ball.
Probably a penalty on that play.
Wow, and that is, we talk about shooting himself in the foot. And this time Solomon will break free. He'll find another opening.
He's
And
gonna do it
he's
again.
Gone. Solomon Robinson all the way to 10-5. End zone touchdown, North Penn. Oh my goodness, what a last three possessions. My goodness, Solomon Robinson looking uncontained by LaSalle's defense.
And it looked like the same play on that, just flipped in formation because he went to the left side the first time and the right side the second time.
So as the extra point opportunity here for Ayub Chirardi. His second opportunity for an extra point, and the chance to put North Penn up 14-6. Nate Brown at the hold. Kick is up and straight through the uprights. The crowd on their feet. And as we want to recap for you guys, it looked like a roughing the passer call, and it just huge impact to this game.
Yeah, and that's a bad mistake from LaSalle. You know, you had an interception right there, but obviously the penalty can really change it. You could have had possibly lead right now as they were in field goal range.
So rolling back a couple plays, Solomon Robinson in the same kind of situation. He ran through, he saw daylight, and ran all the way to the end zone. Then it was brought back. A huge shot in the foot for North Penn. Next play, miscue, misroute, whatever happened with the pass, the ball was in the air and ended up in the arms, and then on the ground, picked up by LaSalle. And then they took over, but then the roughing the passer, a huge flag as the officials have continued to control this game and impact in many ways. North Penn was able to get the break, and that very next play on the next possession, Coach Beck said we're doing the same thing, and he gave the ball right back to Solomon Robinson off the snap, and he broke anybody in their way to put North Penn up now 14-6. Line drive kick. Bouncing all out of play towards the 15-yard line as LaSalle will get set to take over as their offense looking to try and pick up their defense after a couple rough events on that last possession for North Penn's offense.
Yep, and luckily for them, you know, they're still not that far behind. You know, you get a touchdown, and if they want to go for two, they're tied up here. So definitely still in this game, a lot of football to be played here as there is 6:58 left in the third.
That's what we see with a lot of sports, a lot of momentum shifts, especially with football and any kind of turnovers. You know, that could bring out one side of the crowd, and they can immediately get taken away, as we saw their back and forth possessions.
And you have to forget about it real quick. You know, you can't be dwelling on the last play. You have to just get over it and focus on one play at a time.
So LaSalle has been unable to answer with quarterback Machida in the last couple of possessions, as they've only been able to get field goals on their scoring opportunities, and he'll look to pick up his defense after a tough break as Machida will step back. He'll get a pass off and will find Rob Tatum on the towards the sidelines on your far side of the field, and a huge catch and gainage across midfield for LaSalle. And that's how you pick up your defense, getting going here for the boys in white and gold.
And that's really the first big pass play we've seen all game. We haven't seen anything really from pass games on both sides.
And this will be Sean Daly back at the shotgun. We can almost assume what he's going to do here, as every time he's snapped, oh, ball comes loose. Daly picks it up, will control, and it will be brought down back by the 46.
And now they're out of field goal range.
And he's lucky he was able to pick up that ball. Is it almost too, like, it wasn't even like a mishandle? It just looked like they completely missed Daly off that snap.
You know, it's real hard to get that ball if it's just a little bit off to the left or right, especially in this kind of weather.
Now, as you mentioned, where the ball is settling on this field, so that's a break for Daly as the ball settles, making an easy pickup. Because we've seen in NFL, college, high school,
that could have easily bounced even further back behind the 40.
And players could just dive on it right away, the ball moving around, and it could come loose. The ball settled. Daly was able to pick it up. You know, doing his job there. That's what he had to do, was get that ball. Sal back with the ball. Machida will throw, but he'll find wide receiver 83. He immediately gets off a tackle, and with huge gainage. And LaSalle, receiver number 83, Khalil Diarra, was able to get right through the initial tackle by Evan Spann. And 3rd and 11 as LaSalle inching closer to that first down. As the ball will be snapped from the 40, not quite in field goal range, as they'll need to get at least a couple more yards to try and put some more points up on the board. Machida back in the shotgun. He's set at the 45. He'll step back. He'll roll to his right immediately. He'll see DeVos. He'll look deep. Then he'll run. Going up the middle. He'll be hit and gets across on the dive. First down for LaSalle.
And there's just nowhere to throw the ball right there, so he just took off. And, I mean, luckily for him, got the first down.
Jack Machida looking at 2 receivers. Is able to tuck in the ball and run through the line of scrimmage and do it himself. First down for LaSalle with a gain of about 12 yards on that last run. As LaSalle gets set to work their way continuously up the field.
And North Penn's defensive line not as dominant here in the second half. They were really getting to the quarterback, and now we've seen 2 great plays from the quarterback.
My goodness, Machida hands off to Sean Daly, who was immediately brought down by Nate Brown with a hard hit behind the line of scrimmage. And LaSalle will take a loss there. Now with 2nd and 12 at the 30-yard line. So it looks like what we can assume was their answer to a lot of the pass rush. And now, as you mentioned, the defensive line hasn't really been able to get to Machida. He's taken a lot of snaps from the shotgun, as you see there. Machida will throw to his left and overthrow. Wide receiver on your close side of the screen, Diarra. So it looks like as this rain turns into a little bit of drizzle, LaSalle's feeling more and more comfortable with letting that ball go into the air.
Yep, and they're definitely changing game plan here at the second half after not putting up much in the first.
Machida back to the huddle from his sideline. He'll set up once again. 2 receivers to your close of the screen, 2 receivers to your far side of the screen. Machida shotgun. He'll roll back. He looks deep. Met and quickly brought down with the pressure. And North Penn number 24, DJ Fisher with the sack. And that is the 2nd sack of the game by North Penn's defense as they answer there, as we talked about with the defensive line, unable to answer. They shut us up. They did their job.
For sure.
Well done.
I'm surprised Machida didn't see the pressure. That thing came right through the middle of the line.
Yeah, initially he looked right and then went back to the left. They just didn't see Fisher coming right down the middle towards him. As this punt will go away, take a friendly, very friendly Browns down to the goal line. LaSalle will pick it up.
And that's a very different play that we've seen. We've seen the ball just hit the ground and stop, but that one
very friendly bounce.
Just rolled.
Yep. And North Penn will be forced to start their possession at the 1-yard line or just within. So they are going to be taking snaps and plays in their end zone.
And expect them to run the ball here, gain a little bit of space, especially since they've liked to run the ball in the first half. So I'll expect them to run early, maybe on 3rd down, maybe see a pass play.
Solomon Robinson will head back into his huddle, as we have seen him take quite a bit of throws as well as the rushing plays. With their last score, Solomon Robinson with that long run to the end zone. But we set up here and hand off the ball immediately with his offensive line right there on defense. Julian White breaks through. And that is number 34, Julian White, doing a phenomenal job getting out of the end zone for North Penn. And with a gain of 9 on the play, it will be 2nd and 1. So we can assume Solomon Robinson will take a shot, as they are in a very good situation they don't have to worry about so much getting that first down. But with no receivers to his left or right, Robinson will hand off. Nate Brown will take it to his left. And it'll be close to the chains. We'll see if they're able to continue moving downfield with the first down. There'll be officials timeout as they'll check the chains. As we take a look at the forecast continuing for tonight at Crawford Stadium, it's a solid 66 degrees here at Upper Gwynedd, and the rain will continue to pour throughout tonight, finishing up roughly around 10 o'clock. So for the majority of this game, it's a 58% chance of precipitation. As brought to you by our Google. Looking it up, checking it out, checking out the forecast. As the rain is slowing up compared to the last half of action. Heading back to the huddle. Solomon will be back. Setting up in the shotgun.
As a receiver out wide.
Two receivers to his far side of the screen.
And the slot.
Robinson will run immediately after taking the snap. Continuing with the fight his way through, refusing to go down.
Number 9, Solomon Robinson.
And Solomon Robinson will gain a couple yards as we get set for a second down here, still within the 20-yard line of North Penn's own end of the field.
Gain of 6 yards of play. 4-yard gain of play brings up second down.
So this is also, continuing with the weather conditions. Do you think it's more of Coach Beck seeing the game plan working with the running game, or do you think it's because of the conditions?
I would think it's because of the conditions. I mean, obviously, you're out with your starting running back, Shamar. So, you would, in a usual game, you would think more passes, but a lot more runs here. So I would probably put it on the weather conditions.
And as R.J. McNamara is brought down there, I mean, we've seen North Penn able to run the ball at will almost, especially in this third quarter with the big run by Solomon Robinson as quarterback. The running backs haven't been quite as successful, but they're doing a great job at least picking up a couple yards and getting close to the first down. And even with that last drive we saw with 2nd and 1, Coach Beck still fights for that first down on the run, not letting that ball go into the air.
And another thing is that it's chewing clock. It's chewing with the way this offenses are playing and not putting up a lot of points. Chews a little bit of clock and gives less time to LaSalle to make a comeback.
Solomon hands off, and Julian White will be brought down, picking up a couple yards to his left. And what was great to note that with North Penn's last game out of Chamonix, they were pretty disciplined. For a first game of the season, there's usually a couple penalties, there's usually some miscues, but that interception, situation was the only kind of problem we saw tonight. As North Penn, really hasn't, forced any penalties or shot themselves in the foot too much. So that's a great job by the coaching staff for North Penn. And as for LaSalle, they kind of shot themselves in the foot a couple times, but we haven't seen many of those penalties lately, especially in the second half, as they got used to this field, used to the conditions, and they've been doing a great job. And this game is close. It's 14-6 here in this third quarter, so still plenty of ball to play.
And I think the biggest call, if it comes down to a call to change the game, was the roughing the passer. That would have been huge.
Yes, that was big. That would have put LaSalle in a great field position within the 30-yard line. And so as we get set to pick up our fourth quarter, we would like to show you guys how we got here, how it became 14-6. And it all started off with North Penn striking on the board. Julian White within the goal line, crossing it and putting North Penn up by 6. Finished off by the extra point by Girardi. So that put North Penn up 7-0. And then LaSalle, just with seconds left in the second quarter and first half of action, their kicker Gandolfo, who's been busy tonight, was able to put it through the uprights and make it 7-3. And then picked up North Penn with a touchdown here in this third quarter. And then LaSalle wrapping up with a field goal. So that's how we are here, 14-6. As Solomon Robinson will get set in the shotgun. Julian White to his right. White will take the ball, rushing to his left, breaks one tackle, and then will be brought down with about a 5-yard gain.
And Julian White really only looked at it as a defensive end before the season, but he's really been putting his mark as a running back here early in the season.
And yeah, that is great to know because when we've been at the practice and saw who was taking the snaps, who was taking the reps, we saw a lot of John Haynes, wide receiver, Sullivan Robinson as quarterback, and then Shamar Edwards was that running back to go to. Julian White was taking a few snaps, but with Shamar Edwards going out in that first week, this should be the only game he's out for, as he should be back next week at Penn Ridge. But as for now, North Penn is doing a great job with their running game, even with their main week 1 starter out.
And John Haynes and Evan Spann head back out onto the field, so maybe a pass play coming up soon.
And regarding receptions, John Haynes been pretty quiet tonight, as he's the main guy to go to, but he'll be at your closer part of the screen. Sullivan will run to his left off the snap and brought down. So this kind of gameplay is what we've been seeing all game, and Coach Beck has seemed to like it. As not only does he have his running backs taking the ball on the move, but as well as his quarterback. And looking back to last game too, Sullivan Robinson had a huge 34-yard pass to John Haynes, who then did find himself in the end zone. So they need him to go to. He is the guy. But they haven't been able to use his weapon quite yet tonight. Set up in the I formation, 2 receivers to your far end of the screen. Sullivan will step back. He'll look deep. The toss to John Haynes. Caught, tripping over. And he'll get up on his feet. But the play is ruled dead. And there we go, as we mentioned. He's the man to go to.
Yep.
And right on cue, John Haynes zooming by his cover.
And that is going to change momentum quite a bit, as that was the first big pass play. There was one by LaSalle, but that one definitely was the biggest. And that's going to change, especially now you're in field goal range. Widen the lead a little bit.
And North Penn student section showing their love to John Haynes after that reception. Huge conversion as the Knights now get set for a 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. 2 men behind Robinson. He'll hand off to R.J. McNamara. McNamara runs left. He avoids a tackle. He'll continue on his feet, breaking another, and then brought down hard on his head, but with a huge gain. R.J. McNamara continuing to get these touches and making big impacts on the field for North Penn. And another 1st down converted with that 13-yard run. And as you mentioned, now they're well within field goal range. So I think we can look to see many of those running plays that they have worked for North Penn, as LaSalle is looking to try and answer and prevent a touchdown, just hoping to get away with only giving up a field goal.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a run play here, as you have Julian White back in the backfield.
Robinson hands off. White runs to, he sees an opening. O'Neal not letting himself go down. He'll hobble through the end zone. And Julian White with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game will put North Penn up now by 20-6.
And Julian White, he's having a big start to this year. Already 5 touchdowns. That is tremendous to begin the season.
He's been doing a great job.
And he's doing it out of the fullback position. He's not even the running back. He's doing this as a fullback. That is amazing.
And I'm sure Sullivan Robinson appreciates it as well.
Especially with the weather condition today. You're not going to have as many clean passes, so to have a runner like Julian White is huge.
And the snap will get placed to holder Nate Brown. Kicked through by Sherrari for the extra point. And North Penn will officially now 21-6 with 8:52 left in our game tonight. So you're on the sideline. LaSalle, what are you looking to do now coming in?
Well, it's only 8:52 left. You're going to have to start passing it. Even with the weather conditions as it is, you're going to have to start passing at this point.
And as for the rain, it has tied off quite a bit. Still drizzle, as we can see in the lights. But that's what you're going to need to do, as the game plan is going to have to change for LaSalle, and you're just hoping for to avoid the turnovers.
Yep.
As talk about momentum shifts, that interception or fumble, something to give up the ball would be huge. But no timeouts called for either team. So LaSalle does have all 3 of their timeouts.
And they're going to need them if they're going to pull out this comeback down 2 possessions at the least. You're definitely going to need those timeouts later on in the game.
And before the kickoff, Rob Tatum, number 10, will swap out with LaSalle's Brad Vespi. Back deep as his kick will get to Rob Tatum. As he'll receive, he'll run towards the sideline and be brought down into the sea of gold and white along LaSalle's sideline. And as North Penn's defense takes the field, let's just take a look at how they've done tonight, because they've done a phenomenal job with plenty of stops and huge, the bailing. We've seen them bailing some of the offensive out as they've been able to work their way to avoiding LaSalle working their way up the field.
Yeah, and at first it looked like they weren't doing a great job. The defensive line is making some stops. They had LaSalle was starting to get a little bit of momentum out of the quarterback position, but then the big stops were coming in, and they haven't looked back since.
So as we begin one of the biggest drives of tonight's game, LaSalle down 21-6. Machida will be in the shotgun. 2 receivers to your close side screen. He'll throw. It's going to be high, and Daly unable to come down with it.
And that was Kaleem Corbin with a nice play right there.
Great coverage there by North Penn. As the pass just seemed almost as soon as he let it go, it was just too high, possibly slipped out. And the pass intended there for Daly, unable to be converted. And North Penn coming off that season opener, a very character win, as we were down there at the huddle after the win with Coach Beck, and they were pretty hyped as they were looking to come out and answer tonight, and they have been doing so far. But LaSalle there with a bring in by Deara along the sidelines will give LaSalle close to the first down. Will be about 3rd and 3.
Gain of 7 on the play. 3rd down and 3.
So just at midfield by the logo. Machida will be back in the shotgun once again. Looks like a similar outlook. He'll step back, look to his right, throw. Caught by Rob Tatum and then brought down immediately by number 32 for North Penn, Eric Laughlin.
And there is that pass game starting to kick in now as 3 straight pass plays from LaSalle.
Penalty is a personal foul, roughing the passer against the Knights.
And the Knights will be called for roughing the passer on that last play by LaSalle, and will move them upfield right into the heart of North Penn territory at about the 30-yard line. So now within field goal range, but that's obviously not what the Explorers are looking to answer with here.
And you definitely want to score a touchdown here, so possibly your last possession will be the next one. You would have to score on that.
Machida steps back, moving out of the pocket. Julian White answers and brings him down as he looked to escape the pocket and get through. But Julian White was right behind him and able to bring him down. Julian White coming in. He's a big guy, 6 foot 215. So that's a guy coming behind you who you want to make sure you have the ball secured, as that is the last thing LaSalle needs, is giving the ball up with this kind of field position. 2 receivers on either side of him. Machida looks left, he'll look toward the middle, get the pass off, Tatum with the catch, and then brought down by 2 North Penn Knights, but excellent field position with a great pass and a phenomenal catch by number 10, Rob Tatum of LaSalle.
And he got on the inside right there, and that's what helped him to complete the pass.
And with that slant, he was just able to beat his coverage. and putting the Knights deep here on defense. And LaSalle with a first and goal situation. Machida steps back. He'll look to his left. He'll get this pass off. It'll be rung in by Diarra, and he'll slide into the end zone. Touchdown, Explorers. And they won't celebrate too quick, as they know that's just one of many they need to get back into this ball game.
And when North Penn gets the ball back, expect them to run, chew as much clock as possible, give little time to LaSalle to make anything happen on their last possession.
So with 7:13 left here in our ball game tonight at Crawford Stadium, the rain has seemed to pretty much stop. And LaSalle will look to kick this up, and it will be good for the extra point. Gandolfo with his second extra point of the game. Excuse me, his first extra point of the game, as they have had many field goal kicks. Will bring the score 21-13. And LaSalle just looking to try and get the ball back as quick as possible. And as for North Penn, as you mentioned, Prasham, the Knights are just looking to run out this clock as much as they can to try and secure this Week 2 dub.
And a big possession coming up here now, as North Penn will have to do something, either chew down the clock or score here, and give LaSalle no shot at tying it up.
Gandolfo will get set to send it downfield to a North Penn receiver, as North Penn looks to just make sure not only they get a couple yards on the kick return, but secure the ball.
Yeah, that's another thing. You cannot have a turnover here, especially if you're near the on your side of the field. If LaSalle gets position, that would be very bad for North Penn.
And Moore staying on his feet, refusing to go down. Will make sure he holds on to him as he hits the ground hard at about the 20-yard line. So doing his job there, blocking the ball off his knee on that kick return, and then picking up a few. Will now put North Penn into their end of the zone about the 20-yard line, up 21-13.
And Julian White is now on the field to begin this drive, so I wonder if they're still going to run the ball or not.
Robinson in the shotgun. He'll step back. He'll run to his right. And Solomon breaking free. He'll continue to run up the sidelines, and then brought down by number 11 for LaSalle, Zaire McLaurin. And it looked like the blitz, he was able to beat it. As Solomon ran to the far side of your screen, the blitz came to the closer side. As it was to the left of him, where Robinson was able to beat it and run to his right. So with a first down and moving up the chains, North Penn will be at their own 35-yard line as the clock continues to tick, reaching now 6:30 left in the fourth quarter of tonight's game. Two receivers to the close side. Nate Brown will take the snap. Will take the handoff and be brought down just about the line of scrimmage. And LaSalle still with all three of their timeouts. So obviously North Penn is going to look to try and roll this clock out as much as possible. LaSalle will look to try and get the ball and get going, as they not only need a touchdown, but they will need that 2-point conversion. And rolling, spin move, brought down at the sidelines. A great run by Robinson, but a flag just about the line of scrimmage. And it looked like Robinson was unable to get out of bounds, so that worked out, as the clock will continue to run. But with this flag, we'll see the verdict as the officials will meet up. And the penalty will be on North Penn, so they'll be sent back right where they started. with a couple yards, 2 to lose. But this run play is continuously being able to work, and we'll see if the Knights and Solomon Robinson are able to answer just like they did last possession, where he got the huge gain with a touchdown, ball back, and as soon as he got it right back, he did a similar play and ran it right back downfield for the touchdown.
And Julian White is still not on the field, so I would expect either Solomon to get a carry or maybe Nate Brown.
3 receivers, 2 Robinsons left, 1 up top all alone. Stoppage of play as Haynes took the reception. And false start North Penn. And that is continuously working their way back into their own end of the field. Now, we haven't seen a lot of these penalties on the line of scrimmage for a while in this game, but now they are coming up and in big spots.
And the further they go back, the less it would be worse as far as they move back to get a turnover here. I mean, if LaSalle were to get the ball off a turnover and have this great starting field possession, it could be very bad.
Yeah, it'll be crusher. 2nd and 25. Robinson shotgun by himself. He'll run to his left. Seen opening up the middle and be immediately brought down by the Explorers. Number 30 on the stop for LaSalle, Brandon Fusco. And Julian White will head back towards the sidelines as it will be 3rd and long. Clock continuing to run, reaching now 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
And this is going to be the big play of the game here. If they don't convert this, you got to punt it away, and there's still plenty of time for LaSalle to mount a comeback.
And important to note, too, LaSalle and the Explorers did get to R.J. McNamara's punt earlier. And as Robinson looked downfield, try to get a run, will be brought down and wrapped up just about at the 27-yard line.
And
huge kick coming up here for McNamara.
Yeah, and he's going to have to just punt as far as possible and make the drive as long as possible for LaSalle. And we're going to see if that defense can make one more gigantic stop here on this drive.
So as Coach Beck for North Penn and John Steemans meets up with their team. Steemans for the Explorers. What do you think they're talking about coming up to this big play? What do you think for North Penn? Obviously, their goal is to get off a great kick, but also their line has to put a big stop here.
Not only their line, but their secondary, because LaSalle is starting to put more of the passing game into their strategy here when you're down this much. But maybe they do start to run the ball a little bit more just because you have so much time. There's 4 minutes on the clock, and that's plenty of time. You could run the ball. You don't have to call a timeout.
Yeah, the big plays have been when the ball was put in off a handoff. So you might be able to see more of that. But it all starts here with a long snap and a punt away from R.J. McNamara, who will be sending it off just about at the 13-yard line in his own end of the field.
And you have to get this punt off. No space to have it blocked here.
The clock pauses at 4 minutes. 21-13, North Penn leads. Here on 4th down, Sean Daly back to receive for the Explorers. And stoppage of play. McNamara dropped the ball, but it looked to be a flag. And it'll be on North Penn, false start. And they'll be sent back farther. And this kick will just give another couple yards of an advantage for the Explorers, as not only is Daly at the logo here going to be on this kickoff, but he's going to be a lot closer to North Penn's end zone.
And that could have been blocked right there. It looked like one of the LaSalle players might have had a chance.
Attempt number 2. No rush provided. McNamara will kick it away. Daly rolling backpedaling. He'll run forward now towards midfield, heading towards the sidelines, and will get out of play to stop the clock, and another flag on the field. And we'll see what this call is.
And this could be a big call right here if you're going to start on your own 50 or the other team's 50.
Officials meeting up on your far side of the screen. And it will be against LaSalle, who received that last punt. And working in North Penn's favor as the line of scrimmage will be pushed back now at the. And oh no, we'll get ready to see it. It'll be at the 40-yard line in LaSalle's territory. So the line of scrimmage, which would have went from just about at midfield to 50-yard line, will get sent back about 10 yards. And you see North Penn letting their fans get into this one as we get set with 3:47 left in our game, 21-13.
And that means they know how big this or the stoppage of the drive would be for them.
Cheetah shotgun steps back. He'll get a quick pass up and misses Tatum, overthrowing the ball above his intended receiver, number 10, Rob Tatum. And it will be 2nd down and 10 as Machida will get set for another opportunity. Machida back in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left. He'll fake the handoff, he'll step back. Throw towards the middle. Tatum reaches out, makes the catch, tumbles, and comes up with a huge catch. No time to celebrate as he'll head right back to the line of scrimmage as the Explorers with a huge conversion there of about 15. Great toss.
That is a big play right there. Get on the other side of the field, and now you have a little bit over 3.5 minutes left, and now you can mix in the run a little bit. You don't have to pass the ball.
Machida shotgun formation with DeVos to his left. He'll hand off. Jalen DeVos up the middle. He'll break the line of scrimmage and continue to fight his way. Then brought down his face, sent right into the mud on Crawford Stadium with a short gain with his last possession. And DeVos has been the go-to answer on the run. But now it will be up to Machida here with the opportunity as DeVos gets set on the far side of the screen. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. On his own, Diarra. He'll look to Diarra. Throw is up, and Kaleem Corbin all over him. Not even a chance to turn around and look to make a catch. And that is a phenomenal job by North Penn secondary right there.
Yep, and this is going to be a real big play now if they can get the stop here and possibly ice the game. You know, if they get the ball here, we can run out the clock, get to the 2-minute warning.
North Penn student section rumbling. Snap will be from the 33-yard line. 3rd and 7, LaSalle. Needing a 1st down conversion. Machida back. DeVos to his right. 2 receivers to his left. Machida steps back. He'll look to Diarra. To the sidelines. It is reeled in. Is it a catch?
And it's good.
It is good. He brings it in. Number 83, Diarra, with a huge catch and a phenomenal toss by Machida.
And that was a great catch right there, sideline to get the toes in. And it's going to continue the drive here with 2 and 30 minutes.
And the hard cut to his right was able to beat Kaleem Corbin along the sidelines on your close side of the screen. 1st down and 25 to go to the end zone. LaSalle needing a touchdown and 2-point conversion. As scores 21-13, the Knights lead. He'll toss to Diarra again. It is caught off the chest. Ball is loose as Corbin got his hands up and in among Diarra's arms as the ball hits the dirt. That will be 2nd and 10, 2:25. Still remaining in our ball game tonight.
2nd down and 10 for LaSalle from the North Penn 25.
So, Prasham, are you continuing to expect this ball to be in the air? Because DeVos has been the go-to on the run, but he's continuing to set up on the far side of the screen. What are you thinking?
Well, right now with the formation, it looks like it's going to be passed, but I wouldn't be surprised if they could run the ball maybe a little bit, if they can continue the drive.
Machida on the move will throw to his left on the run. Pass intended for Jalen DeVos on the slant towards the sidelines will be out of his reach as the ball goes incomplete. 3rd and 10 as this crowd will get set to realize the situation once again here. As another huge play as LaSalle needs to convert and North Penn needs to bring their defense they've had all game long.
And, I mean, LaSalle could even run the ball here because you're going to have to go for it on 4th down, even if you have an incomplete pass. So, don't be surprised if they just try to pick up some yardage. And we have Julian White out at corner.
Machida, the lone man, will snap and get the pass off through the hands of the Voes. And it will be 4th down for the Explorers. As Machida will head to his sidelines by himself. So obviously, you're going for it.
And Nate Brown with the coverage right there. But it's very surprising. We saw Julian White at corner right there.
The man has been a big impact in all aspects of North Penn's season. As he's out there on the practice field getting some moves in, getting some dancing, keeping everything light. He knows what to do when it comes to business like this.
And he is the energizer of the team for sure.
Yep, you see the pregame hype. He's the man leading the charge, and he'll look to answer here. Crowd on their feet. Machida back. 3 receivers to the far side. Diarra by himself, bottom right. Machida looks. He'll be under pressure. He'll run to his left. Sets his feet. Throw it towards the end zone. Will be picked off by number 32. North Penn running with the ball towards the sidelines. And on now he will finally be brought down. North Penn interception. Eddie Quinn. Oh, excuse me, Eric Laughlin on the stop, senior.
And
oh my,
that is huge. And you're at the 2-minute warning, so that you're gonna have to have LaSalle use the timeouts. That is huge. Eric Laughlin is gonna be a hero if North Penn can come out with the win here. He's gonna be the heroic effort.
Yeah, it just looked like Machida was unable to set his feet efficiently as he got the ball up. North Penn
felt the
just
pressure.
Swarmed all over that ball, and it was a great job by the North Penn not all fighting for the ball or trying to get it, and the ball comes loose because then North Penn will be forced to get another stop or be forced even farther back. So with this field position, we can assume they will continue to run the ball as they just did.
And you might need 1 first down conversion because that's what it's going to come down to. So you will still have to at least put on some pressure for a little bit. You can't just take a knee now.
And timeout called by LaSalle, stopping the clock. We'll put them at 1:53 left in this game, and the Explorers need to counter the defense here to not only try and come up with a turnover, but just stop the Knights' rush and get their offense back onto the field as quick as possible.
Yeah, if you're going to hold them to small rushes, then they have to pass on to get a first down, or they get a punt away. Maybe you still have some time for a comeback.
Number 42, Sam Barrow, will check in for the Knights. So for LaSalle, who do you think is going to be one of the big names you're going to see if they're able to get the ball back on one last possession? Because we've seen Diarra take a lot of the opportunities on the sidelines for receptions.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. They're putting a lot of pressure on Diarra right now, and even Sean Daly, yeah.
Yep.
He's been running the ball a lot, and so he's got speed behind him. Maybe he can take a nice deep ball if it comes down to it. I would try to just outrun the secondary.
Robinson will hand off to Julian White, who will run and force his way across for a first down and continuing the clock. It'll be a timeout called by LaSalle, stopping it at 1:46. And Coach Beck doing a great job calling some of these plays. And as for the defense for John Steinmetz, they're just looking to try and lock down here and avoid another first down conversion, because the last thing they want is to use on this next rushing play is they bring North Penn down, they use their timeout, they got to stop them there. They cannot allow another first down, or that clock is going to continue to run, where at most they'll be able to get a punt return.
Yeah.
North Penn looking to improve their record to 2-0 tonight. if they are able to secure a W here, and LaSalle looking to avoid a rough start 0-2 record, as they were unable to defeat Emotep Charter High School and former North Penn quarterback Steve DePaul last week in their season opener.
And looking ahead at North Penn's schedule, they will play Pennsbury next week at home, and that could be another nice game.
And set up with plenty of help around them. Robinson will take the snap, hand off to Nate Brown, and immediately met by LaSalle's defensive line, as they'll be stopped for a short gain of yards. As the clock continues to run, we a minute 30 and continuing to tick. We get set for about 2nd and 8, with North Penn still up by 8 here at Crawford Stadium. And I think it is finally safe to say here in the 4th quarter that the rain has stopped.
Yep.
As the field conditions have played a major factor all game, with players slipping,
Just in
incomplete
time.
passes, possible fumbles.
Just in time for when the fans head out, as they'll be looking for a safe drive home here tonight from Crawford Stadium.
And also another shout out to our camera crew, who's done a phenomenal job tonight, holding down Crawford Stadium in the rain, as time will continue to tick. As it is safe to say North Penn walk out of here looking 2-0 here on the opening 2 games of the season. In their home opener, they lost 41-28 last season against LaSalle. It looks like it's going to be a different story tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge, especially going into next year. You know, you had North Penn win, then you had LaSalle win, and now you're going to have North Penn win here tonight. So we're going to see this rivalry really continue. It's been a great rivalry so far.
And as the sea of Navy and Columbia Blue take over the field, North Penn securing the dub here at Crawford Stadium in their home opener, with a great crowd on hand in their blackout celebration. The handshake line will form as North Penn will improve to 2-0 and get set to take on Pennsbury at home next week, as LaSalle will head to the buses 0-2, as they'll get set for the next matchup next week. And as we conclude tonight's coverage, we'd like to thank you for joining us here on North Penn Television. I'm Eric Jesperger alongside Prasham Joban-Prusha. Thank you to the rest of our crew tonight, dealing with plenty of the rain. And thanks for watching as North Penn defeats LaSalle 21-13 in a phenomenal game. Have a great night, everybody.